So a big thing coming up for 2025, and it's been discussed a lot right now, is workplace flexibility. Right from working remotely to hybrid working to part-time working, it's all over the place. And COVID really forced us very quickly to become a remote working force across the country and internationally, to be honest with you. And now there's obviously looks to bring back in the office. Is a hybrid situation? Is it all in person? Is it all away? Yeah, we're still figuring it out. But I'd like to talk about, an interview recently by the CEO of JP Morgan Chase was saying that everyone should be back in 5 days a week. Well, funny that, because have they got, is it over $1 trillion in real estate just sat there? I think everyone's got different motivations to bringing people in or keeping people away. And I also think it just depends on the role. And I actually talked about this a while ago, that working remotely is almost like long distance dating. Sometimes it can work, sometimes it doesn't. It's not right for everyone, and it really depends on the type of situation that you're in. And I still believe that, and I think over time, as you see it works and more technology coming out, people investing and stabilizing, it really does come down to the role and the company. So I think there are some roles that you could be 5 days a week out of the office, and there are some roles where you do have to be in daily. And I think there's a bunch of it in between. So do I think there's negatives? Absolutely. I think you lose serendipity. I think you lose a little bit of the culture within the environment, and you lose that like teamwork sometimes as well. But there are ways to mitigate that. I can talk about that in a second. But also being in 5 days a week can also be damaging to the culture, but also you might be losing top talent because they don't want to come in every day of the week, or they've just had a newborn, or something's come up in their life where they can't get in 5 days a week. Because you gotta remember, like during COVID, a lot of people structured their lives and moved and built their life around this remote working. And we've been doing it for years. And then suddenly to change the whole thing to go back again, not everyone might be able to do it. And I do know people that moved states or moved into the middle of the countryside and have been there for years operating, and now they're being required to come back in, but they've left the whole area. They've built the whole life around it because they had to. They had no choice during COVID. Like, we had to reevaluate everything, re-strategize, not only within work, but also personally to keep ourselves and our families safe. So we made a lot of adjustments. So how can you put it back with the flexibility? So I'm thinking, if you're having this flexibility and you want to keep this remote working going, the trick is to have like meetings, like management meetings once a quarter or a couple of times a year, to keep that interaction, especially when it comes to like creative roles, where you do have to come up with solutions, you do have to do pitches together, proposals, or come up with brainstorming activities. It definitely is easier face to face in a room. But then I go back to roles where you can work completely remotely, like for example in sales, or if you are in HR, you do need to see people. So our roles tend to be like hybrid. It's great to get the paperwork done at home, but then really we do need that face-to-face interaction. But even if you take this for example, I'm talking to you right now in the UK, filming for the US primarily as a market, in a house and not in an office. And that is the flexibility that I get, because when working with Copper Sprocket, we're able to use multiple different locations because it is designed to be mobile. Like, you can be anywhere. We're not sat in a studio in a fixed location. Hence, when you see me film, I could be in Chicago, New York, LA, or currently right now in a town outside of London, right? So this is the difference of having that flexibility and that mobile workforce, is that you can be in all different areas and different aspects of it. Another thing to think about with the flexible workforce is companies really should be looking at how they pay and compensate people, because that will counteract being able to have a remote workforce. I think when we initially did it, we were paying California salaries and people were living in North Carolina. Whereas I think now we've wised up to that fact that we can hire from all over the country, we can pay the prevailing wages in different areas, and companies should be more savvy about what the local market is, but also how to keep that cost containment in place. I think another thing looking forward to as well is what we're seeing across our client base is looking how we can offer more flexibility for parents that want to come back to the workforce. I think having the part-time and the full-time and the hours, I think it's really causing a lot of problems. And we've seen recently with Starbucks now offering full benefits for people that work 30 hours a week. I think there's a lot of people out there, especially mums that are looking to return to work, that want to have those benefits but don't want to go back full-time. And there's not a lot of options for them, like great options there. So having that flexible environment, having those benefits there, and having that approach will really open up the talent pool that you have in order to move your business forward. Another thing I get asked a lot about as well recently is FTO, flexible time off, rather than PTO. And it's been quoted as unlimited time off, which I personally hate, because if it was unlimited time off, then maybe you don't need that if you're taking 10 weeks off a year. But I do think it's a great balance to have in if you want to go to the doctors or take a long weekend off or take that time off for your vacations of a week to 10 days. It really can work, and everyone's afraid of implementing it, but really you go through the same approval process you would with PTO. You're not just, it doesn't mean that you can just go, hey, I'm taking 9 weeks off, see you later. That's not how it works. It really works out the same way as PTO. It just means you don't have to carry the large balances on your books in order to potentially pay it out in multiple different states. So the idea is you follow the same approval process, but it does give people more flexibility to be able to work during their life and squeeze things in, rather than having to take a full day off or trying to run around to get the doctor's appointments or the dentist appointments. You really do make people feel empowered, professional, and having that flexibility just makes them feel that they can actually balance their life and their work without having to sacrifice in either areas. One of the key aspects of having this flexible work, whether it be remote, in-person, FTO, looking at different areas, like helping out, really is to keep your workforce motivated, loyal, and also to reduce turnover. One of the biggest costs right now is turnover. Salaries are expensive, systems are expensive, and all these different things culminate in a very large expense against your workforce and your business. And moving into 2025, I know a lot of us are going to be thinking on growth. The biggest way to grow is to have a flexible workforce that you can draw across from the whole country. And then also looking at costs. Because if you're pushing money into growth and expansion, you've also got to look at how you can control costs on the back end and how to operate more efficiently. Again, that is going to be utilizing technology, utilizing a flexible workforce, and looking at cost containment, but also finding the best talent in the best places. Not only location, but in a period of their life where they may need more flexibility, but yet can bring something amazing to the team. I often think about when you do work from home versus not work from home, or if you're working part-time. Some people that are working part-time, and we've all seen it, may put out more in 4 hours than someone sat at their desk for 8 hours in an office will. So it's really coming down to the type of person you hire, the motivation they are, and that really comes down to your talent acquisition, is finding people that are motivated, highly intelligent, that want to go to work and that want to drive the best, because those types of people, if you give them an opportunity with the kind of flexibility that they're looking for, will be so motivated and loyal to your company and will go above and beyond. And like I say, I've met people that will do more in 3 hours than some do in 6. So realistically, I wouldn't think about it as time. I'd think about what the contribution they can bring to your business and how to drive it forward. And remember, flexibility is key. Everyone's got so much going on right now, and giving that little bit of grace there to have that flexibility within their work and their personal lives will really go a long way to showing that you're creating and fostering a culture for growth, investments, but also you understand what's going on in their lives right now. And I think that really is going to help you grow. And I don't want to just say it's something fluffy, because some of you will be like rolling your eyes as an HR person saying that, but I really do feel it will deliver a strategic advantage to your business that will help drive your bottom line and really position you for growth in 2025. It's not just something nice to have, it really does make an impact and will really help you drive your business.